They're not okay.
No, these people
are
are nuts. I don't even want to look at it anymore just because it's such a black pill. Hey, Gina.
Hi.
You ready to react to some gay stuff?
Ready? Well, I was until you put it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you guys for coming to the channel, right?
Yeah, thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, post notifications on so you get notified when we post something.
Yeah. When I edit the videos, there's a little graphic that bounces and pop up. I send Adriano them, so hopefully he puts them up on them soon.
I think he does.
How are you enjoying these?
I like these a lot.
Okay. We shouldn't waste time bantering.
Okay.
We should just get right into
more
it.
bantering.
Do you want to
Let's
introduce it?
Gay stuff. Sure. So I tweeted a long time ago last year, maybe even in the summer of 2022, I tweeted, there's no such thing as an LGBT child.
What did you mean by that?
Stop sexualizing kids. What I mean by that is you would never call a child like a 10-year-old. I'm talking about children.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a gay 10-year-old.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't say there's a straight 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Like children are not sexual and we should not sexualize them.
Yeah.
And so this was in response to, I think maybe when they were talking about the so-called Don't Say Gay bill, even though the word gay isn't even in that bill.
Okay.
And we were talking about how it's inappropriate to teach children about gay sex and LGBTQ, LMNOP, alphabet mafia stuff in school. And all of the libs were like, oh, but LGBT children need to feel welcomed and validated. And I'm like, stop calling children gay.
Yeah.
Like before the LGBT nonsense took over mainstream society, did anyone ever talk about straight kids?
Yeah.
No one was ever like, oh, my heterosexual 8-year-old.
Right. Yeah. Gay means if you're a homosexual, sodomy. If you're a lesbian, rug munching. If you're bisexual, you like both. It's all about who you decide you're having sex with. You're having sexual intercourse with. Mm-hmm. Has nothing to do with gender. Has nothing to do with how you express yourself, what type of media you intake. It's about who you want to bang, like plain and simple. And when you start talking about children like that, you cross into territory that I won't say aloud, but, just so that we don't get the video taken down. But that's what essentially these people are. These people are... Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
The audio is not going to catch that, but whatever.
No.
Also, the LGBT child phrase is that I think it's especially wrong to label a child LGBT because LGBT doesn't mean gay. LGBT means lesbian, bi, gay, transgender. And the LGBT umbrella and community, they promote drag shows. They promote very sexually promiscuous pride parades where the guys are whoever are going around with their privates hanging out and they're humping each other and they're dry humping in front of children. I think it's especially wrong to label children with this sexually inappropriate umbrella.
Right.
And you're not only sexualizing kids, but you're tossing them into this progressive umbrella of LGBT community that is very sexually inappropriate.
Yeah. So a very popular gay guy on Instagram saw this. His name is Maddox V. I'm assuming it's Matt, what is it, 14? I guess it's the age of guys he likes, maybe. I don't know. I mean, none of this is all, speculation, right? I'm not making any sort of accusations or anything like that for legal purposes. But I mean, he's a he, they, which means that he's a he. He's a singular person. He's not two people, but he's a friendly queer Jew. I mean, describe yourself in 3 words and then have somebody think of what that will look like. And that pretty much, but he saw your tweet because that's why we're here. He saw your tweet.
Saw my tweet.
And then he said the following. So let's bring this up and take a look at it.
But before this too, I'll just say on Twitter, he did not retweet me.
Right.
Because you can retweet someone, quote tweet them.
Sure.
He took a screenshot of my tweet.
Right.
So he subtweeted me. You know that term, subtweeted?
Right.
He didn't have the balls to just retweet me and then write a message above it.
Well, we know for a fact he does have balls.
We know that
for a fact
he has testicles.
Right.
Figuratively speaking, he did not have the gumption.
They could be up there. They may not have dropped yet. We don't know.
Right back in there.
We don't know.
And so he didn't even have the guts to tag me. He
probably thought your speech was violence. He probably thought that you enacted violence
against him.
Well, no, just in general. That's why he didn't want to draw attention to your violence.
Right.
Which is weird because he still included your name in it.
Yeah.
But then he posted this on Instagram. And this guy's Instagram is great just because it makes its behavior, it makes no sense. And it's so narcissistic. This guy is so full of himself that he just has to project the way he feels onto everybody else around him. It's not uplifting other people. It's not about that. It's about total narcissism. But let's look at what this guy has to say. If there's no such thing as an LGBTQ child, do we all just not exist until we turn 18?
Also,
what's with putting like the 8-year-old kid in a dress and then blocking out his eyes? It's like, that's weird.
I know.
That's very weird. And as like a grown man with kids, like it makes me want a Fed post. Like I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Like this is not, it's demonic.
It
also,
is.
that kid's clearly not 18.
Not even close. And
No.
like the idea, you think is a 17-year-old a child? I mean, like we're not talking about 17 and 18-year-olds. We're talking about children.
Right, exactly.
Young children, like a 10-year-old. That kid must be like 8 or 9.
Your tweet seemed pretty clear when you said child and stop sexualizing kids. Let's go on to see.
I like how Aldo liked it.
Aldo, what are you doing?
Aldo sent it to me because I didn't know it was posted. And
Let's
Aldo
go to his
sent it
next
me.
tweet. He says,
LOL.
how do these people think it works? Do they think you wake up on your 18th birthday with a letter under your door informing you that you're LGBTQ? Yes. That Lady Gaga visits you in a dream? A drag queen appears in your living room and pronounces you queer? I think so.
That's probably what he wants to happen.
I honestly don't think anyone's born gay. I'm sorry.
So here's my thing. I think that some people are born, unfortunately, with some perverse desires. And remember Christopher Yuan, he separates attraction from desire.
Mm-hmm.
So like some people may struggle with some perverse attractions, just like some people may struggle with drug addiction or gambling or something like that. And so Christopher Yuan says like some people, whether it's because they were like molested as a kid or because they just have these kind of perverse attractions.
Or were themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, he says, from a Christian perspective, which everything we talk about is from a Christian perspective, when it crosses over into desire, that's when it becomes sinful. Because, in the Bible, the New Testament, the New Covenant, it's not you physically cheating on your wife is not the only adultery. Just desiring another woman or desiring another man is adultery.
Yeah.
So the way that Christopher Yuan explains it is like some people do struggle with some perverse attractions.
Sure.
Just like they would with drug addiction.
I figure that it might have to be different with drugs or, gambling because you have to act on those things. I mean, you can't necessarily be a gambling addict if you just think about gambling all the time, right?
That's true. You're right. Yeah. But some people will like have a desire to gamble more than others do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So, but back to what your point is, I don't think that like you're born with this gene that makes you LGBT.
No. And it's not, I mean, even before that, it's just when he's saying, do you think you wake up on your 18th birthday with the letter under your door? It's like, clearly we don't believe that. We don't think that. But I don't think a 5-year-old is going around and saying, I know that I want to have sex with guys.
Oh gosh.
I know that for sure. And I'm just tired if anyone is going to come back to us and say it has nothing to do with sex. No, it has everything to do with sex because it's a sexual preference. I'm not going to be politically correct and call it an orientation. It's a preference. That's what it is. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I guess he's just saying the same thing. He's just making memes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing,
they just
phrase,
can't even meme.
The left can't meme. They can't
even
meme.
It's not even good.
Michael Knowles explained why one day. I forgot. I'm just trying to find that clip, but he succinctly explained why the left can't meme, and it was the perfect explanation.
Well, they just can't. They never take it. They never take it to the line. That's why the right can meme because we take it to the line and we go over the line.
Yeah,
that's
funnier.
What makes it so. We're so much funnier.
Yeah.
I don't even like the term edgy, but we're so much edgier.
Edgy as.
Edgy as. Do you know who this is? Emma Jo Morris?
No.
Oh, did she just? Oh no, she must have mirrored something you said. She just said kids don't have sexuality. There's no such thing as an LGBTQ kid is a convenient thing to say if your goal is to avoid any potentially tricky conversation about identity with a child who needs your support. What? Support for what? If my 8-year-old kid comes to me and says, Daddy, I'm gay. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I like hanging out with guys and I like show tunes and I like costumes and I like fashion. Okay, no, that doesn't mean you're gay. It just, means you like a kind of diverse group of things. If my 8-year-old came to me and said, Dad, I like sodomy with other men. I'd say, oh, okay, that's what gay is. But also, why do you like that? How do you like that? Who have you been talking to?
How do you know?
How do you know? Yeah, because I'm not having that conversation with an 8-year-old. I'm not even having that conversation with a 12-year-old really about that. So it's just tricky conversations about identity. It's sexual preference. It's not identity.
That's the
your
thing.
Sexual preference is not your identity, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so sick and tired
of
entertaining that. Claiming that a very real group of people does not exist is delusional at best. See, this guy, I'm saying it's all narcissistic projection. He thinks we don't think he exists, so he has to be as loud and as stupid as possible. We know you exist.
No one's denying your existence.
Right.
If anything, we want you to live to your fullest extent, not living in sin.
Correct. We just acknowledge that an 8-year-old gay child does not exist.
No. Yeah.
A flamboyant 8-year-old boy, sure. A tomboyish 8-year-old girl, maybe.
Like Regis. Regis said he was like from a pretty young age, he was like flamboyant.
The kid in the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. This kid.
Oh my God, I'm gonna make the
I don't know that one. I don't know that episode.
Yeah, Larry. Remember I posted on her stories?
Yeah.
Larry got me a sewing machine.
Larry. Yeah.
Get a life, Jews.
Which
Get a
that
life,
was one of the later
It
seasons.
was when he was in New York. Looking out for your children's best interests. Oh, wait, okay. Claiming that a very real group of people does not exist is delusional at best and evil at worst. Are you yeah, he calls us evil. Are you looking out for your children's best interests or your own? Yeah, I'm looking out so that my kid doesn't spend time around people who are him or her and want them to partake in sodomy.
And
that's in my kid's best interests.
And it's in everyone's best interest to tell them that their identity lies in one place and one place only. Christ. That's it.
This guy Julius is correct. Acknowledging that children have romantic feelings does not sexualize them. What are romantic feelings if not sexual?
Well, hold on. So this tweet right here, the bottom one, Amir, friend of the show, been on the show. He first posted my tweet and then disagreed with it, and then post this one on the bottom and agreed with it. So he said to my tweet, he said, if there's no such thing as a gay child, there's no such thing as a straight child.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, welcome to the conversation. Like, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong to label an 8-year-old straight. That implies that they're having sex with the opposite sex. Like
an 8-year-old child is an 8-year-old child.
And
Boy
so
or girl.
I was talking to Sav about this, Sav Hernandez, another friend of the show, and she said, when I was like 7, she said I had a crush on my uncle. She's like, kids, you don't know what's good. Like, I just loved my uncle. She's like, does that make me a straight girl? No. Does that mean I wanted to have sex with my uncle? She's like, no. Kids have these crushes.
Yeah.
And I don't even think like romantic feelings. Oh, sure, you can say like romantic feelings, but it's still not sexualized. Like, as an 8-year-old, you're not thinking about somebody you have a crush on.
If you take romantic by its like dictionary definition,
sure.
But when adults are talking about romance, we know what they're talking about.
We know what they're talking about, but it's like when a child has a crush on somebody else, they're not thinking about it sexually.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about having sex with them. They just have like kind of like these feelings that may be kind of confusing.
If there's no such thing as a child who likes the same gender, wouldn't there also be no such thing as a child who likes the opposite gender? Yes. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean...
Then you're just a homophobe. Well, I guess I'm a homophobe.
Fine, whatever. You can call me whatever you
want.
Homophobe,
please.
transphobe, whatever. But
Homophobe
it's like...
of the year.
It's just weird to me that people are like... Because Amir was saying, he was sharing his story about how he was in elementary school and he had a crush on a boy and that's when he knew he was gay.
Yeah, but didn't know what sex was.
He didn't know what sex was. So like, no, you were not an LGBT child. Just like the other kids in his classroom who had maybe a crush on the opposite sex. They weren't straight children. They were just kids being kids. Kids like they think they have a crush on someone. It's got nothing to do with wanting to have sex with them.
You know that the adults screeching, there are no LGBT kids. Definitely were calling kids in their class queers when they were in school.
And that word wasn't even used when I was a kid.
Queers?
Like when I was in elementary school, nobody was talking about queers or fags.
Yeah, no, we were.
You were?
You call them queer.
Maybe in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, but not in like elementary
Well,
school.
because queers, they were queer adults. And when you saw how queer adults acted, and if you saw someone in the 10th grade doing similar things, you call them a queer. It has nothing to do, that person probably wasn't engaging in sodomy.
Yeah.
But he was just acting queer.
Just acting a little queer.
Yeah, for sure we did. You're right, sir.
It's funny. These people,
Kaylin?
They think they're doing something when they say, well, if there's no such thing as an LGBT kid, there's no such thing as a straight kid. Yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like, stop sexualizing kids.
Yeah.
Like, out of all the things that you could call children, or out of all the adjectives you could use for kids, out of all the things that you could talk to them about as an important issue, like, you don't need to be talking about gay sex or straight sex with a 10-year-old.
What about, there were a lot of these type of comments. They say this, but the same people who would try to couple up toddlers.
Wait,
no, we don't couple up our toddlers. We bring them on play dates. And if the other kid just happens to be the opposite sex, hey, here's your friend. I'm not trying to couple up toddlers. This is like
and
some what I've reacted to these people, and I've replied to these people from, the podcast account. I'm saying, you guys have really weird fantasies about toddlers and young kids, about them hooking up and having romantic relationships. Like, you guys are pedophiles. That's what I said.
Why are they thinking about that?
Yeah, it's very weird.
Coupling up toddlers?
See, the same thing. I wonder if they bring this energy when people ask kindergartners if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Wait, they probably do that themselves. No. We don't. You do. You think that.
You ask kindergartners if they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
Very weird. It's very weird. Just like there are no Christian children or Muslim children. Oh, I got to find my reply, because I think my reply is like, my reply said, you've never heard of a baptism?
Wait a second. That's not a real comment.
Yeah, that's a real comment. I got to find
See, this is they really think that their so-called gay identity is equivalent to our identity in Christ. That's how sick and twisted these people are.
They're demonic. I've told you, they're demonic. They are anti-Christians. Never heard of a baptism, have we?
Like,
these people are they're a couple of IQ points.
So some of the guy Matt's, I don't know, little followers were posting, just like, they would go to all my posts and write the same exact thing in all caps.
Yeah.
Your words are dangerous against us, or something. I'm like,
okay.
Do you really feel like you're in danger? This is how privileged you are.
Yeah.
You are so privileged.
It's narcissism.
You live in so much luxury that you feel endangered by a tweet.
Yes. Kids don't have sexuality. Explain teen pregnancy. We are talking about children.
You're talking about children.
We never once talked about teens. Did you ever talk about teens?
I didn't say teens. Why do people think a 17-year-old is like a child?
I don't know, because like I said, they're lacking IQ points. They don't get it.
And also, we're not condoning teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
We don't think that teens should get pregnant.
No.
They're not okay.
No, these people are nuts. I don't even want to look at it anymore, just because it's such a black pill. Are we done talking about it?
I guess so. I mean, I guess it would be interesting to kind of talk about it with Amir. It's just like, it just doesn't make any sense.
You guys discuss it in the comments. We always have a fun time in the comments. Until next time.
Bye.
Not a homophobe.
Well, maybe.
Well, kind of.